You know a lot about golf.
Well, we're waiting.
Hey, it's that time again. We are here, those weekend golf guys. John Ashton in studio, Jeff Smith in the Golf Cave at Otter Creek in Columbus, the Plain and Simple Golf School. We've got some stuff coming up, man. We're going to be talking about GPS, Global Positioning Satellites, and how they have actually helped golfers everywhere. And there's a specific thing, it's called Mobitee and Peak, P-I-Q. We've got J.D. Coleman from that company coming on a little bit later on in the show to explain exactly what you can do with it and how it's going to help you. And
I can't wait till they put one of those in a golf ball.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yes, with an app for your phone.
So you can control it?
Like a little homing device.
Like a remote control golf ball.
Well, I was actually thinking so you just find it. Just thinking the locator.
Oh, a locator. That wouldn't be too shabby.
Little homing beacon.
Yeah.
Bling,
Yeah.
bling, bling.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah,
That would speed up play, that's for sure.
sure would.
Why don't you work on that? Since nobody else is working on that, that could be our $1 million invention.
It could be. I'm not the scientist type.
You find a scientist, they're a dime a dozen, man. You know?
It's true. Just pay them a bunch of money. They'll write a report that says they studied something and came out in your favor.
That's
They'll
a
write
rather
a fancy conclusion.
That's a rather cynical approach to the world, isn't it, huh? All right.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. The good news is, of course, that Mother Nature is smiling upon golfers throughout much of the country. It is warmer than usual in many places, so we're stealing days to get out on the golf course.
We're in mid-60s here at Otter Creek. It is fantastic.
Which isn't bad for the second weekend in December.
Our parking lot looks like it does in June.
When you were a kid, did you get scared if there was no snow on Christmas
Yeah,
because Santa couldn't get there?
yeah. And it didn't happen very often because I lived in northern Indiana, so generally speaking, we had a bunch of snow. But
Yeah.
what's interesting now, I think that I have this thought, lots of people are going about this global warming stuff. No, I think it's actually just shifting a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot more snow in March than we do in December now.
Yeah,
January
that's
and
true.
February still got plenty, but we have a ton in March.
Yeah.
And we don't have much in December. And our nastiest weather is mid-February to April 1st.
Oh,
And so I
great.
just think it kind of shifted a little bit.
That could be. Here in Louisville, we have what they call the Falls of the Ohio, which is the reason why the city of Louisville was actually established, is because there's a waterfall in the middle of the Ohio River. It's the only portion of non-navigable water on the entire river. But it's also one of the world's largest fossil beds. And they've got a big museum and all kinds of stuff. But you go out there and you see that in the Pleistocene age, or whatever age it was, we were living in the middle of a rainforest. And you go, wow, it's no longer a rainforest. You mean climate changes? Okay, I'm off my political soapbox now, and we're moving on.
I was going to say, have you gone there? Have you seen some old buddies? Or
It's very cool. If you're into fossils, it's very cool. But that has absolutely nothing to do with golf.
No.
So let's get back onto the subject of golf. I just want the world to know, because this is such a cool thing. Mr. Jeff Smith, PGA, is not only respected by us, those weekend golf guys, production crew and staff, but also by the crew and staff of golf facilities everywhere. Well respected nationally as a golf instructor. Man, just real quick, give us a story, man. There's a guy from Ashland, Kentucky that's heard the show, heard you talk, and actually wants you to help him get on the Pro Tour.
His name's Todd McDaniel, and he is one of the top players in Kentucky right now as an amateur. And he's going to be turning professional. He's heard me on the show, and he studied a little bit about me, tracked me down. He tracked down some people that I've worked with. And next thing you know, he came over to visit, and he drove 4 hours to see me.
Yeah, that's not a hop, skip, and a jump from Ashland,
No.
Kentucky to Columbus, Indiana.
Yeah, and that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
And so, somebody's going to drive that far. By gosh, I'm going to give him quite a bit of time.
Right.
And so we worked out pretty much an afternoon. It turned out to be more than just the afternoon, because he got here at 10 o'clock in the morning. He left pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
Drove in the fog. and we talked a little bit about his goals and how I could help. And, he gets my philosophy of do no harm, because I'm not going to force him into things that his body can't do.
Right.
And then, I let him swing a little bit, I got to see what he could do in person. I've seen a couple of videos, and it's pretty strong, I got to tell you.
Fantastic.
Guy's pretty strong. And,
Fantastic.
but we ran him through the usual physical tests.
Mm-hmm.
The things that show, what's your best natural position for this or for that or the other thing, or how you're going to move the best and how you're going to pivot and how your hands are going to work the best. And he left knowing that he could do something slightly differently, and that I left him intact, but suggested that he do something that other people do to find out if it's really going to be better and easier and faster to do, and that's actually to test something. Here I am without any different swing thoughts, but I gave him a little bit of something to do with his hands that he could go work on and test it, and then have some sort of measured results. And so, he's going to use launch monitor and whatnot, and we use the one we've got here, and we did a couple things with his driver. Next thing you know, it's he went from 285 to 315.
Hey, Bubba, get out of the way, man. Todd is on the way. Tell you what,
that took a handful of minutes, but it was pretty good.
One of the things that we're going to talk about when we come back is how you should pick a teacher, and you really need a teacher. I mean, you can buy all the clubs you want, but unless you got some lessons, it ain't going to help. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but that's the deal. So stick around. We'll tell you how to get a teacher and how to get a good deal and make yourself available, and how Jeff Smith can be made available to you very, very inexpensively, almost for free. In fact, it is for free. We'll come back and explain that right here. Don't you move. We are those Weekend Golf Guys, powered by Golf Talk America.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free just for calling 877-376-2829. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-376-2829. That's 877-376-2829.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
Hey, thanks for hanging. We're back. John Ashton, Jeff Smith, those Weekend Golf guys known collectively as
MBS.
Once again, I'll throw the words out. You put them in the order which feels most comfortable for you to hear. When we left just before the break, we were mentioning that Jeff Smith is interviewing a new prospective student slash, I don't know, what's the word, disciple, maybe? I don't know.
Well, he's an aspiring tour professional, meaning
Right.
he's going to be turning professional. He's looking for somebody that can help him. He had somebody, worked with a couple people, and they were very method-oriented, meaning that everybody that comes to him is going to wind up doing the exact same thing.
Right. They have decided that this is the right way to do it. And that's the same problem as we alluded to. You know, you really need to be careful in choosing a teacher or a coach or whatever you want to call them, because a lot of you guys in the teaching profession are of a mind that there is one right way, and it's my way. You know, if you can adapt to their way, yes, you probably will get much better. But a lot of times their way is not compatible with what, especially if you're, a 40-year-old, 50-year-old golfer who's been doing it for 20 years, you're not going to make a change. It's just not going to happen because your body is going to. Yeah,
it takes too many repetitions of doing it the opposite way than what you've already trained it to do.
Yeah. So let me tell you what you can do is avail yourself of the expertise of one of the top golf instructors in the world, coached to multiple high school champions, collegiate champions, a couple guys on the web.com tour in the professional ranks already. Just go to our website. It's thoseweekendgolfguys.com. And there is a Jeff's Quick Fix page. And on that page, you will find a little form. If you're having a problem, you have a particular question, you need some aspect of your game improved, just get in touch with Jeff. You can send him a video, or you can arrange to do a video conference, or you can join one of the new features that we're starting with the show beginning in 2016 in the spring. March is the target date, where Jeff will be holding monthly webinars. Totally free. Just jump on in. You have a question you want to ask, or if you're shy, you can just hang out and listen to the other people's questions, because chances are pretty good that someone else out there is suffering from the same problem as are you.
Yeah, but you know what? In a webinar, nobody knows who the heck you are anyway, so just pipe up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, don't wait.
Yeah, you don't have to be shy. You'll never see any of those people again, as my mother used to say. Whenever she made me do something in public I didn't want to do. What you need to do is just scope it out. ThoseWeekendGolfGuys.com. The tab says Jeff's Quick Fix. There's a form there you can fill out, and you can start open up a line of communication directly with Mr. Jeff Smith, and he can cure what ails you. But if you are looking for a coach in your neighborhood, which is also a good idea, go to the local pro at the club or the course you play at most often. They would appreciate it. That's what they're there for. And you have a specific problem, ask them about it, but do be careful. If someone comes to you and says, this is how it needs to be done, as opposed to this is how you should do it, that's a caveat right there.
Well, it's one of those things that as a student, you should ask questions of your teacher.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
Like, what makes this a better way than others is a great question. It gives the teacher an opportunity to show you exactly why this particular method is a better one than another particular method. Not just swinging the club, but maybe it's just moving the club into the golf ball on a short shot. Ask questions. If you don't get answers that give you the feeling of this is better and this is why it's better, and they don't give you answers to questions and you cannot repeat the motion, then maybe it's time to seek out something different. But give the local PGA professionals a chance to help your game the ones to pay attention to, ask around. Find out who in the area has a lot of students that have success in their games.
Mm-hmm.
And success is defined by many different things. There are people out there who just want to get to be a 90s shooter when they're a 100 shooter and they play 5 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
That is defined as success. But someone else might say, well, I saw him taking lessons from that guy and he still shoots in the 90s. But yet that might be coming from an avid golfer who wants to shoot in the 70s, who constantly plays and constantly practices, and many's done that. And so his view of the 90s shooter's success isn't the 70s shooter's success. And so what you need to do is find out by asking a lot of questions about the teacher, about the students. Are they good communicators? And do they have fun in the golf lesson? Do they come out of there with too much stuff in their head, or do they come out of there with something they can physically do right away? Find that out.
Yeah,
ask questions.
Definitely.
Every student should ask questions about their teacher.
And keep in mind, with a good teacher, the techniques and the lessons for the guy who wants to be a 90 shooter are going to be completely different than the guy who wants to make sure he's a single handicap or plus handicap shooter eventually.
And at the same time, not every physical body is anywhere near the same as the next one.
Right.
And so the teacher that adapts to the student in terms of what that person needs to accomplish to move the ball down the fairway and onto the green successfully and frequently, they will be different.
Yeah.
If you hear of somebody who says, hey, he's a this kind of guy or a that kind of guy in terms of style of teaching, then you got to kind of be careful.
Right.
But at the same time, if that teacher's still having a lot of success, there's a reason they're having success, because they've adapted and figured out what it is that student needs to do to succeed.
Right.
So just ask around.
So start at your local golf facility. Talk to your local PGA pro about lessons. There's good ones all over the place. And just keep in mind what you need and see to it that they can do it. Or, again, if you want to open up a pipeline of communication with Mr. Jeff Smith directly, it's thoseweekendgolfguys.com/Jeff's Quick Fix. Lots more coming up. Don't you move. We are Those Weekend Golf Guys. Be right back.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free just for calling 877-376-2829. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-376-2829. That's 877-376-2829.
Jeff, you've seen me miss. Good news is I didn't 3-putt but one green my last round, but I'm still missing by an inch or two left or right. Man, I need some help. What do you got? Teach me, buddy.
I'll tell you what. The first thing that I do with all my clinics when we're working on putting, I break out the putting stroke teacher every single time. We put this thing on, their forearms are lined up, their putter face is lined up in the same place, It's the straightest putt you'll ever hit. It's unbelievable. And then I'll teach you how to aim after that. But you go get it. The Putting Stroke Teacher, tpsteacher.com. Go get one. Cheap and effective.
I like
Gotta
that.
love it.
Cheap and effective.
You're not kidding. This thing is absolutely one of the best things I've ever seen.
And it's easy to understand?
Absolutely. Strap it onto your putter and go.
Don't need
Real
you
simple.
standing over me to tell me how to use it.
No, you don't want me barking at you anyway. Just
Open up
get
the
it.
box.
tpsteacher.com.
Make it work. tpsteacher.com. And those weekend golf guys are back. John Ashton here in studio again. Jeff Smith in and out with us. He'll be around in a little bit. Just right now up at the PGA sectional meetings at the French Lick Resort. Those guys know how to party when they do it. But anyhow, with us on the line, Brandon Stooksbury from the Idle Hour Club in Macon, Georgia. Not only a golf instructor par excellence, but a best-selling author with the book, The Wedge Book. And what we're talking about, Brandon, when we left was bounce. What the heck is bounce, and how do we understand it, and why does it mean anything to us?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's interesting you bring it up because I went back and forth when I was writing my book on how much or how little to actually write about bounce because it's difficult to understand. In as simple terms as I can put it, the bounce is the amount that the trailing edge of the sole, meaning the edge that's farthest away from the golf ball when you strike it, sticks down farther than the leading edge of the sole. Bounce measurements are usually now stamped on wedges, not always, but they're getting better about that. I would say a mid-bounce would be anywhere from about 7 to 10 degrees. Anything above 10 I would call high bounce. Now here's why it's important. Bounce is measured with the shaft in a vertical position, straight up and down. The club might have 10 degrees of bounce, but we don't return the shaft to the golf ball in a vertical position.
No.
Traditionally, we lean it forward. And so what happens is a 10-degree bounce club gets delivered with 2 or 3 degrees of bounce because you lean the shaft forward and take some of the bounce out of that. So here's the problem with that. If you follow the standard advice that floats around out there that a high handicap golfer needs a high bounce wedge, then what you do is you in effect put a club in his or her hand that can only be used in a significant forward shaft leaning position at the moment of impact. I hope that made sense.
It does.
The problem with that is as you lean the shaft forward, it dramatically decreases loft. So imagine you have a club with 10 degrees of bounce. You've got to get that thing down to 2 or 3 degrees of bounce before you can use it. So let's say you put a 56-degree sand wedge in your hand that had 10 degrees of bounce, and by the time you're done leaning it forward, you've got a 47-degree wedge in your hand. That makes short game pretty tough. And so That's why I tend to avoid high bounce wedges, because you lose the capability to deliver as much loft to the golf ball as you get into the higher bounce wedges. Perhaps a little more challenging to learn the skill with the mid-bounce wedge. In other words, there's a lot of protection built into the higher bounce, but it turns you into a one-dimensional short game player.
Right.
So I would rather the player struggle on the front end, learning the technique with a wedge that might be a little tougher, but then they come out on the backside with a lot more versatile tool than the other way around.
Let me ask you a question about spin on the ball itself. Why is it that an amateur can't get a ball to do consistently, to hit and to check, to actually impart the spin to the ball in a wedge shot like they see the guys doing on TV all the time? Is it that we're using cheaper balls, or that we just don't know what we're doing?
It's a little of both, to be perfectly honest with you. The ball will not spin like you see it on TV unless you're using a $5 golf ball.
Okay.
You just won't do it.
All right.
And I just made all the ball manufacturers really happy out there when I said that. But it just won't do it. I mean, if you're playing with golf balls that are $30 a dozen, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all, they're not going to spin. The second thing that you mentioned is the technique, and there absolutely are some differences that you see with those guys out there and what most amateurs do. And the difference goes back to that loft. In order to create spin, obviously there are a lot of factors, but the most important of which is speed. You have to be swinging the golf club fast in order to put a lot of spin on the ball. And you say, wait a minute, coach, if I'm only hitting it 35 yards, how in the world am I going to hit it hard? You hit it with more loft.
Okay.
So you can hit faster club head speed, but the ball won't go as far because it's higher lofted. That's how they get that spin on it. It's a combination of the actual RPM of spin on the golf ball and the trajectory at which it's coming into the ground. Those two factors combined are what gives it that one hot kind of grab or stop that you see out on tour. And the last thing I'll say to that is, for the love of Pete, keep your grooves clean. I can't tell you how many lessons I give where I look down and I'm like, I just can't spin it. And there's at least 3 additional swing weights worth of dirt in the grooves. And I'm like, well, you haven't hit the metal in a month because there's too much mud on the things, right? And so most people confuse what grooves are actually for. They serve 2 big purposes, and one is to displace stuff that gets between the face of the club and the golf ball. Well, if the grooves are already full of stuff, then there's nowhere for the extra stuff to go. So it gets in the way, which reduces spin. The other thing is that grooves actually grab the golf ball. They cut into the golf ball just a little bit when we strike it, and if there's stuff in the grooves, the ball can't compress into the groove to allow it to grab, and you, again, get a reduction in spin. It sounds elementary, but trust me when I tell you, people's wedges are dirtier than they think.
Yeah. I was going to say, Marky's been looking in your bag, man. Our producer, Marky. He cleans his clubs once a year, whether he needs to or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's amazing how many people say, I need new wedges. No, you just need to clean them.
That spin thing, though, with the $5 golf ball, that's like a 2-edged sword for many amateurs, because your driver's also going to impart more spin on a $5 golf ball than it would on the end.
It's interesting. It's interesting you bring that up. I'm going to cut you off there. I didn't mean to be rude, but that's actually a little bit of an old myth. It used to be that way with the Balata ball, if you can go back before the day of the solid ball. Newer golf balls have technology in them that provides a soft cover, which is what gives you the spin on the wedge. But when you strike a golf ball with a driver, the cover really is insignificant. You get more of that energy transfer out of the inner core of the golf ball. And so technology has now allowed balls to actually do both, to spin less off a driver but more off the face of a wedge. With the same golf ball, it's amazing the changes that have happened since. And I got to give Titleist some props, really, since the day of the Pro V1.
Right.
It hit the market in Las Vegas, actually, in 2001, was when they put that golf ball into play. And it's amazing how that's changed what we do. So I would tell you that there's even more reason there to buy the $5 ball, because it's actually going to go farther off the driver than the cheaper ball will, and spin more off the face of the wedge.
What you can do right now is tell the rest of the members of your foursome guys that they don't have to drop that ball when they think no one's looking on the green anymore. They can use the same ball for the whole hole.
Hey, my dad still does that. I'm like, what do you, the ball he used out of the fairway was yellow, and then it's like pearly white on the green. I said, what happened? Well, I got my putting ball out. What are you talking about?
Miracle.
Putting ball. Hilarious.
The name of the book, The Wedge Book, the author, Brandon Stewksbury, available through Amazon, I would imagine.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And you're going to need it, especially when you're chipping and putting for a bogey at best. You need to be much better at it than most of us are at the moment, because a chip 30 feet away, and then you're looking at a 20-foot putt. You really haven't accomplished much of anything.
No, not at all. Good luck.
All right, so hopefully we'll get that fixed after a perusal or two of the Wedge Book from Brandon Stewksbury. You can order one now and read it and be better by the next time you hit the course. Brandon, appreciate your time, sir. And
hey, you're welcome, man. I had a ton of fun.
And we'll be talking to you again on down the road. Put you on our list of experts we go to for specific problems. You'll be our wedge guy, man.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Brandon. You have yourself a wonderful day. And you have a wonderful day, too. We will be right back. Don't you move. I think we can find Jeff. He's coming in with another guy he needs to interview, and we're going to give him his space when those weekend golf guys come right back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
And welcome back, those Weekend Golf guys. John Ashton here in studio. Jeff Smith, of course, in the confines of the Golf Cave at Otter Creek, Plain and Simple Golf School. And with us on the line from Michigan, which means all of our listeners in Iowa have just tuned out, J.D. Coleman with Peak, P-I-Q, Peak USA. J.D., first off, man, Michigan State fan? Y'all excited or what?
You know what? God, I hate to lose any listeners here, but I have to go blue on that one.
Okay.
Oh, jeez,
Okay.
he lost me.
That's fine. That's fine. So now all our listeners in Columbus are gone, too.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh, well, we're just going to be talking amongst ourselves eventually here, man.
I need to drop that portion of the conversation.
I will say I'm going to root for Big Ten. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that's cool.
Right. Okay, he
We'll
redeemed
come back on that
himself.
note.
And Mr. Jeff Smith, an IU grad who has nobody close at home to root for in the Big Ten, he's with you.
I know, it's sad. It's sad, but I do root Big Ten.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about golf. What do you say, guys?
That's much better.
That's great.
Yeah. You know, I think, and JD, you may agree with me. If not, just shut up. But I think that probably the introduction and the creation of GPS. I kind of knew global positioning satellites. I knew if I stretched it out long enough, I would remember what it stood for. Is probably one of the best helps for the average golfer that has ever come down the pike. What do you think?
I would definitely agree with you on that. Ever since I've been using one that's almost like your go-to now, it's almost like you have to have one in order to play the game. The pros have their caddies, of course. For the amateur out there, I think a GPS is almost definitely needed.
We want to talk about a couple of the products that you represent here in the United States. You are with, as we said, Peak, P-I-Q, USA. And one of the products that you also a rep is called MobiTee. If I understand correctly, having checked out the website in depth, MobiTee is basically a GPS unit that you can attach someplace. It's not one of these big units that you have to carry around with you.
No, it's an application just like all the other applications out there, whether it be golf or what have you, that you download. It takes about 30 seconds, and it connects with our sensor device by Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. And Peak being a wearable sensor platform that we partnered with MobiTee on this because they're one of the largest in the world as far as GPS applications out there.
And I don't want to mention your competitors, but for people who just to kind of put this in their head, because a lot of people here in the States are familiar with game golf. They see them advertised, whatever. But it's a unit that you screw into the end of your club, and it keeps track of your shots. And you can use it to practice. You can use it to try to figure out exactly how far really you hit that 7-iron.
Yes, unfortunately for some of us that really don't want to know the truth, yes, it does that. It keeps track of all your shots. And lets you gives you an average of each club, so you have a better idea of kind of what your average length is on any given club when you're on the course.
Yes, I like the conversation now. So what's your 150-yard club? Oh, my 7-iron. No, really, what's your 150-yard club?
One you can hit or throw 150 yards. Which one?
Yeah. Well,
Some are a little heavier than others.
The last time I threw my 7-iron, I got about 120 yards out of it, and it was that rotating sound that really added to the whole enjoyment of the thing.
That's farther than you hit the dang thing.
There we go.
Now, Jeff, from a teaching standpoint, this is going to be a remarkable invention for guys of your ilk.
Yeah, it really is, because I get students to use this, and then they get to track where their stuff goes on the golf course, and then they get to see it, and essentially they have to fess up. You know?
Get real,
people. Tell me
stuff,
and I get to see it, and then we start working on how they play the game better from not just a strategy standpoint, because you can see it, but from a pattern standpoint of, guess what? You really, every time you hit this club, it doesn't seem to go as long as you think it goes. And so maybe you should see your patterns and play to those, and then you'll wind up being in better places on the golf course. It is these things have helped so many golfers who've paid attention to what it tells you. Because there's some people that use this, and they just kind of look at it and they briefly glance at it and go, yeah, that's really cool. But
yeah.
It's as a teacher, I look at it like this is nothing more than a terrific tool to tell my students, hey, look at yourself from an outsider's perspective, instead of, well, you know, I didn't hit this well, or I didn't hit that well, or it was just a bad day, or whatever it is. But if you just go and look at patterns, you know, you play golf for, 10 rounds using something like this, and all of a sudden you really realize who you are as a golfer.
JD, is that basically the same story you tell, or you got a little different story you use?
Well, no, he's right on that as far as the shot tracking, but, on top of ours doing that and the GPS, we fill in one more aspect, and that's swing analysis. And that's kind of what Jeff is talking about, in a sense that we were actually, we have in our product, you can click on any shot, and it doesn't matter what round it was or what shot it was, but any shot, and let's say you were last week you were playing some course, and hole number 4 you sliced it, and you want to know what happened there. You could click on that actual shot, and our swing analysis would pull up what we judge by is 3 things: is tempo, miles per hour, and swing path. And we bring that up on a 3D, like a character, so it lets you know if it was an inside or outside swing as far as your path. Obviously, the miles per hour. If you're not getting enough power, if you're hitting them too short, it kind of lets you know, how hard you're hitting the ball. And then the tempo. Whether you're jerking it back too quick or you're coming down too slow. You want more of a fluid, motion. But you can use that in your game. But you can also take it to, which I think is better for what Jeff is even more talking about, is you could take this to the range, or you could take it to your instructor or coach and work out your swing right there by using the swing analysis, because ours is real time. Unlike the other ones out there, as soon as you hit the ball, it comes right up on your screen. So you can tweak each swing if you want it at the range by just hitting the ball and then looking down at your screen, and it'll tell you what you did right or what you did wrong.
Or at least which direction you were swinging the club, because it's entirely possible that you're trying to swing the club in that manner, but maybe you just overdid it a little bit.
Right.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possible.
No. We don't
John,
make mistakes, man.
Well, sometimes you just exaggerate what you're trying to do. How about that?
That's right. That's right.
That's right. And I've told myself 1,000,000 times not to exaggerate. So
That's right.
yeah.
Stop it.
So, JD, before you got involved with this, let me back up and phrase the question differently. Are you a better golfer now than you were before you got involved with this?
Well, I've only been involved with it for 2 months, and I've had the chance to use it probably about 6 times.
Okay.
And
It's in Michigan.
I guess I'm more confident, especially in the GPS part of knowing my distances. But as I've been using it and kind of using the swing analysis part, which I really like that, because before I didn't know if, when I was making contact, if I was coming from the inside or the outside on some shots, that it's helped me to kind of realign what I'm doing. And so in that respect, yes, it's helped me, but obviously there's a lot more work to be done than that. So.
Yeah, I like that, man. Whenever you tell people you're in the golf business, they immediately assume you're a good golfer.
Oh, yeah.
And you go,
because bad golfers don't get in the golf business.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Unless they want to get better for free.
Get in the radio business.
Which was our motivation.
Yeah. Well, the unfortunate truth is any of us that are really in business of golf typically maybe play about a handful of rounds a year, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. When you start working in the business, you no longer have time to play.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. If you want to play a lot, you need to be a banker or an insurance guy
or do a nationally syndicated radio show.
Apparently, there's a lot of time on your hands.
I gotta tell you real quick. My dad was a minister. Yes, I am a preacher's kid, even though I prefer the term theological offspring. So I'm a TO, not a PK. But I used to accuse him of working only an hour a week, and my entire life was trying to emulate that. So here I am. I finally made it. I work an hour a week, and I'm a happy camper. Play golf on this. Now, listen, hey, we got more time. I want to get more in depth as to how this works, who should use it, how they should use it, etc. And we're going to do that when we come right back. We are those weekend golf guys. We're going to take a quick break, but you need to stay right where you're at. Be right back.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now. And in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just 1 day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-553-0803 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-553-0803. That's 800-553-0803.
Now there's a martini that improves your driving. The new Martini Golf Tee actually gives you longer, straighter drives compared to old-fashioned wood tees. It's virtually unbreakable, made in the USA, and conforms with USGA rules. Get yours today at martinigolftees.com. So improve your driving with a martini. The Martini Golf Tee. Visit martinigolftees.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
Hi, this is Morgan Freeman. Has anyone ever said, you're the picture of health? You look healthy, you feel fine, but that may not be the full picture. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer of men and women over 50. Since it doesn't always cause symptoms, you may not know you have it. The only way to know is by getting screened. Screening can find precancerous polyps, so they can be removed before they turn into cancer. This is one cancer you can prevent. Plus, screening can find colorectal cancer at an early stage when the chance for a full recovery is very high. Talk with your doctor and get tested for colorectal cancer. Medicare and many insurance plans help pay for screening. Get screened. Make sure you are the picture of health.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
And we're back, those Weekend Golf Guys. John Ashton and Jeff Smith together. That's who comprises those Weekend Golf Guys, of course. J.D. Coleman with Peak USA. That's P-I-Q USA on the line with us here, talking about not only the Peak equipment, but, of course, Mobi-T. Now, this is going to basically take care of everything I need on a golf course. It's going to give me my distances to create a shot, and then it's going to keep track of what that shot actually looked like after the fact, correct?
Correct. And it's also going to have the swing analysis.
Wow. It's a little sensor that you just mount to the back of your glove?
Yes, it comes with a clip that it clips in the bat. It weighs about 10 grams. It's very light. You don't even feel it.
I can't even play with a watch because I feel unbalanced. I can't even play with my wallet in my pocket because it feels so unbalanced.
So if you took the change from your left pocket and put it into your right, you would then tow it?
Well, I don't have change in my pocket either. I have a T, and that's it.
Does that throw you off?
No.
Okay.
No, because I'm used to it. It may be all in my head, but that's okay. It works for me. Back off.
Just checking.
All right. But 10 grams, you're right. That's basically the logo on the glove weighs more than that sometimes. So it's not going to impede your natural swing at all. So basically what you can do then, if I get this right, is you can practice while you play.
Yes. Yeah, you don't even have to take your phone out of your pocket or out of your cart or whatever if you don't like to look at anything, because on the sensor itself, this is where the real-time kind of comes in play from a GPS standpoint, is there's an LED that comes out and there's a button on top of the sensor, so whenever you're by your ball, you just hit the button, and it'll tell you what your distance is to the green from that point.
And then the phone back in the cart will keep track of the shot track and the swing path and all that kind of good stuff, which I can. Now, do I have to save each one of those individually, or will the entire round be saved for later on, or is it one swing at a time?
No, it's saved as you're hitting because you're already synced to the phone.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of your round, of course, when you have your scorecard, because it does the scorecard for you, download and so you're done with your round. So
right,
it keeps all your information there. So I mean, the only thing on the scorecard part is obviously if you're hitting it and you get a lost ball, you will have to add that in at the end. But if you choose not to add it in and want a better score, great.
Yeah, I mean, we have long said on this program that $5 is enough of a penalty for a lost ball. You really don't need to take that extra stroke to.
Yeah.
Can the Mobi-T GPS unit be used without the Peak stuff if one didn't want, need, or could afford all of it together?
Yes, they're a separate app, so you can download the app itself.
Okay. How do I do that?
You would go to, it's for Android or iPhone, and you can download it off of Google Play or the Apple Store.
Okay, now does the sensor on the glove come with the Mobi-T app or come with the Peak?
It comes with the Peak. So you would, once you get the product, you would just go to one of those locations for the application, and you just download it, and then you would sync that to the sensor.
Gotcha. How much does it cost for the Mobi-T app itself?
Through Peak, it's free.
Okay. And how much?
I can afford that.
Yes, I can too. In fact, I could get one for everybody for Christmas at that price.
You are such a good guy.
I am. Ho, ho,
I'm glad
ho.
you thought about that. Every one of our listeners all across the country is about to get the app from
That's
John.
right. That's right. 300,000 Christmas gifts, and it won't cost me a dime.
You don't need to say that because We'll all think you're cheap.
Well, we already do, don't we?
That was just a small group of us.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I think everybody thinks.
Well, the truth comes out eventually anyway.
All
and
right.
now the peak stuff. How much are we talking about?
So for the golf package, which is the sensor, a battery charger that comes with it, the clip, and then you get 18 NFC tabs. Those are the parts that screw onto the each individual club. It's $269.
Okay. Okay. Now, are those interchangeable? If I change clubs, can I use the same sensors, or do I have to get new ones?
Well, yes. If you're changing clubs, it just has to be the same club. So if it's a 3-iron from say a Titleist club, then you 3-iron to a Callaway club, then yes, you would.
Okay. Cool.
Use the same,
Do those little tabs, they have the numbers on them so you know what club to transfer it to, or can you mess that up?
Yep, on the bottom of them it says 3-iron or 4-iron or 5-iron, whatever it identifies the club.
Jeff,
That's good.
so even your students could handle it.
Exactly. That's my point. Are they like embedded in there? Because, when you put these things in the bottom of a bag, they scrape around, they get all scuffed up. You can
you
turn
put
a
'em on
3-iron into a sandwich look in a minute.
You put them on the clubs and leave them there, aren't they? You don't take them on and off each round, right?
Well, I was thinking if you change clubs.
Once they're on, you just leave them on unless you end up getting new clubs. When you take your club out to actually hit the ball, what you have to do is you just have to touch the top of the sensor, and the LED will come up and it'll say whatever club that you're now using. So it could be, a club up 3-iron or 4-iron. It'll identify the club.
So you can double
like
check
the
in
caddies.
case
So you can't grab your 6 when you were trying to grab your 9.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who do that, and then they'll launch it over the green.
That's a good point, because some people do that, and after they hit the shot, they're like, "What just happened there?" And they look down, they're like, "Oh my God, I had the 9, I meant the 6."
Yeah. My problem is I have a set of pings, and the L for a lob wedge is exactly like the 7 on the 7-iron, just upside down. So it just depends on what direction the club face is facing when you pull it out of the bag. Because
Ping thought that nobody would be crazy enough to not know the difference between the shaft length of a 7 and a shaft length of a lob wedge, nor the face angle.
Well, it just shows how wrong Ping can be, doesn't it? Now.
And I just thought they were full of scientists over there at Ping.
They are. They have no practical experience whatsoever. They're all science geeks, not golf geeks. All right, I did it once. Give me a break. And for a very fleeting moment, I thought, wow, I just hit a 142-yard lob wedge.
Sorry to bust your bubble there, big boy.
Of course, I was 80 yards past where I wanted to be, but that's
it didn't
okay.
matter at that point.
That's right. I was indeed chipping back, as I always said. So now this is cool. Now, what technique do your competitors use that makes the GPS unit superior? Do you know?
What do they use?
Yeah, I mean, the Game Golf and those other guys who we won't mention by name anymore. You guys use GPS, which makes it more accurate and mo better, as they say in English. Why is it better? I mean, we know how accurate GPS can be, but what does the other stuff do? How does the other stuff get that information to you? You know?
Well, you mean the shot tracking?
Yeah.
The swing analysis?
Yeah.
So the shot tracking comes off those tabs. So each time you're getting ready to hit your ball, you're taking whichever club you're going to use, and you're going to tap the top of it, and that'll identify the club. So when you hit that ball, it's going to know from when you hit to the next ball the distance that you hit that club.
Okay, so it does the math as you're walking or riding or whatever.
Yeah, correct.
Cool.
It's also, and then that's where the swing analysis comes in too, because as soon as you hit that ball, the swing analysis is going to identify your tempo, the miles per hour, and then the swing path, and let you know why that ball either went straight or if it went right or left.
And it works perfectly unless, of course, we're suffering from sunspot activity.
Correct.
Shameless self-promotion, Mr. J.D. Coleman. How do folks get more information, order one, or whatever it is they want to do?
Yes, they can go to www.peak, and that's PIQ.com, and they can kind of check out information on us there. It has the 2 products that right now. We are a new company. We're only roughly close to 2 years old, and real quick, we are a French-based company. with offices in Switzerland, and that's kind of where the sensory stuff comes from, is Switzerland, because obviously we know how good they are with watches. So
yeah, so not only scientists over there, but European scientists who like this accuracy thing going on. We love that. Yeah. JD, appreciate your time, man.
Very superior product.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's the best of the best.
You going to be down at the PGA show?
I will.
We will see you there.
Perfect. I look forward to that. That'd be great.
That'll be a good time, man. We appreciate your time, JD, and it's Peak USA or peak.com, PIQ.com. Check it out, and, of course, check us out at thoseweekendgolfguys.com. You can also check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/golfguys. Follow us on Twitter. We are at WKND Golf Guys, which is how we found out this Mobitee stuff existed in the first place. Twitter is very cool. You can catch us again next week right here, same time, same place, whatever, or download our free app from either the Android's marketplace or the iTunes store, and you can catch us at your total convenience. Until next week, go out and play some golf. Have a good time. See you. Bye.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving, but my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free just for calling 877-376-2829. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-376-2829. That's 877-376-2829.